Hello, so I'm just going to recap what we covered in Monday's step-by-step sculpting a standing horse using a support or an armature to support the legs so that the legs can carry the body. We started off with a drawing to get us to think about the different muscles and proportions of the horse. I supplied an armature to support the weight of the horse that goes underneath the rib cage, so that when it comes time to add on the legs are hung from the armature. The armature was 10 centimetres from the ground, so the size of the horse that we are creating is limited by the height of the armature. So I know that the armature is 10 centimetres high. So on a bit of A4, I'll just mark up 10 centimetres and then fold the page in half. So I had hoped to do this on YouTube and then save it, but it's been so long since I did a video, they need 24 hours notice, supposedly. Let me just check that. So, yeah. Sorry, it's hard to do white on white. Hold on, it's not a good idea. So that's 10 centimetres. And 10 centimetres up. And then I'll just fold the page on that line. Right. So that will give us the line there. So because we are limited by the height of the armature, we know that the body needs to be, the centre of the torso needs to be 10 centimetres, so I'll just mark that. I'll just draw roughly from that. So I don't normally like people to go by measurements because it's better to go with like head heights or to use the head as the unit of measurement rather than centimetres and inches, but because we're limited to the height because of the armature, it's just easier this time round to measure it out. So 10 centimetres long, and then we're going to go for 7.5 high. So this first video will be about the drawing out of the torso and the head and neck, and then I'll do another short video recapping what we covered on Monday, how to so what we covered on Monday at the class. And so this is 7.5 or 5 centimetres up and 10 centimetres, and it's 10 centimetres here. So this is going to be the torso of the horse, which is going to be the main rib cage area. Now we want to come in, let me see, we'll just do this roughly. I'll come in about 2 centimetres. So I'll come in about 2 centimetres. Then just create an oval there, like maybe more of an egg shape than an oval, so narrower here, getting wider. Then we're going to add on a box for the hind quarters that's going to be 5 centimetres. That's going to be the same height. That's going to be another 5 centimetres. And then the shoulders are going to be, we're going to go with 3. It's going to be closer to 2.5, but 3 gives you the in the chest area. So this is the hindquarters, this is the rib cage, and this is the shoulder area. So we came in about 2 centimetres here to go to the end of the rib cage. I would also like you to come down about 1 centimetre. 1 centimetre before you do your rib cage, because the ribs hang from the spine, and there's muscle either side there, so the fullness of the rib cage, we want that to come down a wee bit, and what that allows for is it to go up slightly for the withers. And if it goes down to touch that, then from that 1 centimetre down, so the withers would be this round rise here. From the corner of this box, I want you to come down to that 1 centimetre. And that's going to give you a wee bit of a slope of the back. Now, some horses have a very straight back, but generally there's a bit of a fall from the hindquarters towards the withers. And the deepest area of the ribs will come down right down to this line supported by the armature. But then if we measure 5, we're not going to measure, I'm just going to 5 centimetres down, and that's going to be the highest point. And then it'll come up a wee bit here. So this would be, I talked on Monday about there being like an outside line, which would be the on this plane of the horse, if you like. But there's the tummy actually comes further than this rise here. So we'll put another wee line in there. And then you know you have your rib cage sitting there. So if we do the hindquarters first, so this box here, if we come down about 1/3 of the way, so if you break that into thirds, go to this third line here, and we'll go to there. And that'll give you a slope for the hindquarters. And then we talked about from going to that line there to get you that arrowhead, but with a shorter, so if that was a triangle, that is a shorter side than this side. And then the shoulders are the reverse. So instead of being 1/3 of the way up, we're going to go, 1/3 of the way from the top, we'll go 2/3 to the bottom. And we'll take this line from here to there, to there. So this time the shortest plane, or the shortest side of the triangle, is at the bottom. And this is going to create our shoulder. So from those 2 arrows, in the same way as I worked out what was going on in the center portion of the torso, now I am going to work out what's going to go on in the hind quarters with the muscle. So there's going to be a large muscle surrounding that line and surrounding that line. So what I'm going to do is, now I've got those kind of muscles on, I'm going to do a wee curved line there to join those together, so that it's not a straight line curve, it's a curved line there. And with the shoulders, I'm going to, that area that you created for a withers, sort of 1 centimetre down, I'm going to put the muscle in there for the shoulder, and the muscle in here for the shoulder. And then in the same way we did a curved line for here, we're going to do a curved line for here, joining those 2 areas together. So then when it comes to making it, you're going to, this is going to give you the line of the spine that'll go out, and that'll be where your tail will be attached. And this angle here, this is where your neck's going to go on from that angle of the shoulder. So this lower muscle here, that is the biggest muscle to the front, but there's also another curved muscle there. So this is your original line. I want you to add on another wee curved line there, because there's another muscle that sits kind of around the corner, if you like. And we'll just put a wee curve on there just for where the leg bends, and then, you know, the hind legs are going to go on from there and are going to attach from there. That's where you're going to have your hind legs run up a wee bit. So level with that. That's where your hind legs are going to attach. And this elbow area here, this is where your front legs are going to attach. So we got the drawing to have us sort of starting to think about those muscles. And that'll help us with the tail, and you need that to have a slight dip, straight line going down there and then rising for the withers. So that was the work we did before we started sculpting the body. We then, once with the body done, we then moved on to the head. So I'm just going to move straight on to the head. So using the height of our armature to give us the scale, we are going to measure, see, 7.5 up, and then 7.5 down. So this is going to be the head and the neck. So what we're going to do is half of that again. We're just going to find the halfway point roughly and come across, and then we're going to get 3, come across 3 there from that halfway point, and then let's see, 2.5. So that line there, you're coming in 3, then you're going up 2 and down 2 centimeters. I think I'm going to have to do a couple of drawings, because by the time I write in the numbers, you're not going to really see what I'm doing. So this, we want this to come in like, if you think of that making like a D, that's going to give you your cheekbones. Let me see. So then if we come in, what would we do? We come in about, would that be about, just about 1/2 centimetre. So 1/2 centimetre in to get that wee line there, and that'll be our bridge of the nose line. So when we follow this, the centre line of this circle, if it's a pony, the eye will sit on the line, and if it's a horse, the eye will sit above the line. There we go. So if you came in about 1/2 centimetre here, I want you to come out about 1/2 centimetre here to create the eye. And then get your, so that you have a line that'll come from the inside of a parallel line with the bridge of the nose that'll create the corner of the eye here. Then you want another line this same distance to create the other corner of the eye here. So that's your eye. But these 2 lines, the line for the inner corner and the line for the outer corner of the eye, that's where you're going to put your nostril. And your nostril, just mark it in with like a C. And then if you think of that C there, and then come down about halfway and we'll go a wee C there. And that's where your nostril muscle will be. So the nostril should, the top of the nostril should line up with the inner corner of the eye, and the widest part of the nostril should line up with the outside corner of the eye. So we'll mark a wee, if you put like a wee muscle around that, and then, you know, you can come down to the, at an angle, you can come down to the mouth, line for the mouth. So, and the mouth is going to be like a wee bit of a triangle point there. Okay, so that gives us a few points for our head. Then what I want you to do is maybe come in about a centimetre. Is that about a centimetre? I'm not used to doing it by hand. About a centimetre from here along that main line, and then we're just going to round that corner off. So we're just taking that bit off. And that line from the corner, the inside corner of the eye going straight up, and the outside corner going straight up, you know that your ear is going to be attached in here above the jawline. This is where your ear is going to be. And another good wee tip is, you see that the ears can be very mobile, you know, flicking back and forth. But sometimes for beginners, they find it really hard to get the right angle. So for beginners, I would say, you see the angle of your neck? If you put your ear out at that same angle, you're going to get a more realistic. It's easier if you put your ear at that angle. And even if you put it at that angle initially, then you can rotate about this point. But it's very easy for beginners to put their ear too high, is generally what happens, or they all time too low. But if you think of the line for the eye and the nostril extending, and the eye and the nostril extending, coming down a centimetre for the crest of the neck, and that's going to give you this wee box here. If you put a circle in that box, that's where your ear can swivel around that point. So then we're looking for the angle of the neck. So this halfway line that you've got there, if you create a wee bit of a curved line, and you've got, it's thinner here than here. I'll just soften that a wee bit. I'll bring that down. So then you can feel the channel between the ear and the jawline, like that, and this is going to give you the gullet. The next wee area I would put on would just to think about a wee, like almost a wee rectangle there behind the ears. And then from that, you're going to get a nice oval shaped muscle in the center. And then, you know, once you have it made, you can do the wee tweaks. But those sort of measurements should be enough to get you going with the clay. So I'll just stop the video shortly here, and then I will get some clay out, and we'll see how we transfer these drawings onto the clay, and we'll just do a wee recap of the Monday class. So I'll stop this but start it again in a minute.